The information and opinions presented in this podcast are based on research done at a particular point in time. The fields of medicine, surgery, psychology, etc. are constantly evolving as new studies and movements happen. Please take into account the year of any particular episode's publication, and as new information presents itself, we will do our best to release updated episodes on the topics. Listener discretion is advised for references to medical terminology of body parts. Unless otherwise stated, no one speaking on this podcast is a medical or legal professional and cannot provide medical or legal advice. Welcome to the Trans Field Guide. So in June 2020, I went and got my top surgery. I've done a bit of a vlog to document my personal experience, and you can find that on the Trans Field Guide YouTube channel. In the meantime, I'll give you a brief rundown of my experience. Rewinding back to my first consultation, it was not with the surgeon that I ended up getting the procedure done by. Originally, I went to a surgeon who took insurance because at the time, I thought that my insurance was going to cover it. I was wrong, and instead waited about a year and a half before going for a consultation with the other surgeon at the same facility, who does not take insurance, but I knew more people who had gone to him. This was a wise move on my part because he ended up being decently cheaper than the other surgeon. Now, the whole reason I waited so long before my second consultation was for the singular reason of finances. I wanted to wait until I at least had part of the cost saved up and a solid plan for saving the rest before I went in for another consultation, so that I could schedule my surgery then and there and get to work on getting the money. In the meantime, I had applied for medical loans and got denied for every single one of them. I won't go into why, but long story short, I made some poor life choices a few years back that I'm still working on fixing. So my second consultation was in February of 2020, and I scheduled my surgery for June. My plan was that that should be enough time that with my budget tightly set and my knowledge of what income was coming in and from where, I would have everything together by the time the surgery came. Then the you-know-what happened, and I was absolutely sure that my surgery was going to be put off. Then Texas decided that we should go ahead and open back up, and the timing was just right for me to still get my surgery. Hooray! So the week before surgery, I went in for a pre-op appointment where they took my vitals, took a blood sample, and gave me my prescriptions. They had me fill all the prescriptions before the surgery so that I could bring them in with me the day of. Got that done, went and donated blood per request based on my hemoglobin levels, and washed with the provided antibacterial body wash that they gave me. The day before surgery, I got a call from the anesthesiologist to discuss whether I'd ever been put under before, and what my experience was. She based her dosage the day of surgery on that conversation, because my previous surgeries I was very sensitive to anesthesia, and it took me a long time to come back from it. The day of surgery, they had me get in the gown and the compression tights, and after being given the anesthesia, was wheeled into the OR. Afterwards, they wheeled me into the recovery ward, where a nurse kept an eye on me until I seemed conscious enough. Then she immediately gave me the pain medication and the antibiotic, and asked if I needed any anti-nausea. After everything was settled, she called my caretakers, who were my girlfriend and a friend of mine, to pull up to the door of the recovery ward, and gave them instructions for my recovery. Then they got me dressed and wheeled me to the car to take me home. The day after surgery, we went in for the first follow-up and got instructions on changing the dressings, which were maxi pads under an ace bandage. I spent the first week of recovery pretty much living in my recliner in the living room. Since I was supposed to sleep elevated anyway, that seemed like the best option. I was in and out of consciousness for the first few days and only really got up to go to the bathroom on the first day. I needed help getting out of the recliner because it's already hard to get out of my recliner when you have a full range of motion, but it's at least very comfortable to sit in for a long time. I also drank lots and lots of water all through that time, which is important. After the first day, I made a point of getting up and pacing the apartment for a few minutes every so often just to keep the circulation going and whatnot. Still kept the compression socks on my legs as well. Because I did not opt for the nipple graft, I didn't have to go in for a 1-week follow-up. Instead, I just had the 2-week follow-up where the surgeon checked that everything was healing as expected. Around that time, my body, being the weird thing that it is, decided to have a reaction to something, and I got a rash. So they took off the steri strips early and had me go without them for a week to let my skin heal, and then I went directly into the silicone tape. I still had compression on my chest to lessen any swelling and promote healing. Originally it was suggested that I just wear an Under Armour compression shirt, but since I'm kinda chunky, it was hard for me to find one that fit me in the way I needed it to, so I opted instead for a breathable compression wrap. If you'd like visuals and in-the-moment commentary on my experience, I suggest checking out the vlog compilation on the YouTube channel. If not, I do believe this is an adequate description of my experience on a high level. Like this episode? Tell someone about it. Have any questions or concerns, please feel free to send an email to transfieldguide@gmail.com. Also be sure to subscribe to keep up with the latest episodes. Stay safe, and remember, I'm proud of you.